Good morning. Good morning, and happy Saturday. I've got my tecito here ready to go. So, yesterday we tried to do the live, but Instagram wasn't working, so we decided to do it this morning as we also have our incredible Tea Talk Empowerment Hour at 9 a.m. So, this is just kind of like a little introduction, I guess. But so this is what I have called spilling the tea. And good morning, good morning. And it's really some motivation on how to cultivate a growth mindset to start living your best life. And in doing this, my intention is really to connect with other amazing women that I have met through this journey, through this community, and have them share their stories, because you guys that are my friends and family, you have heard my story many times, but I have just met some incredible women with powerful transformations. And the common thing has been that working on the inner has created an incredible outer transformation. So my intention is to just bring these stories to you guys, have you meet these amazing women, and invite you to apply the things that they share. So without further ado, I'm going to see if I can have my friend join the call. So I started with this community about 6 years ago, and the biggest thing for me was the fact that when I started my weight loss journey, I didn't have community, I didn't have good nutrition. So to me, I was just overwhelmed with this idea of I could do this with other people, I could have that support. Not to say I didn't have that support in my own life, but it's different to have people that are doing what you're doing, try to better yourself, like in the pit with you, right, doing it. So to have this incredible community of women around me supporting me, just showing me how to love myself through the process was life changing. So I met this woman, and I'm gonna let her share her story, but I just want to share some things about her, and what I love about her. She's got such an incredible story. She's such a resilient woman, such a powerful and strong mama of three, single mama of three, and she just has an incredible journey. And I'm just so excited for the places she will go, because she has tapped into this inner power. And so I see her on here, so I'm going to see if I can invite her to join on. Let's see here. And have her share her story. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? I sent her the request. Yay,
It
it worked.
worked.
Awesome. Okay, Miss Liz. So I want you to first introduce yourself and share your incredible transformation story.
All right. Hi, everybody. Sorry, Mama has ojeras. Um, but yes, like this beautiful woman said, I am a mama of three. My name is Liz. My full name is Elizabeth, but I like to go by Liz. Um, I have one girl, which is 6, and I have two boys. So I started with Herbalife back, when was it? I think I've been on the product over 10 years. Yeah, my mom introduced me first. She was like, let's go, we're gonna go have some tea. And I'm like, I don't wanna go comadrear with these older ladies. I don't wanna go talk about their sons' wives and all that stuff. Now, mind you, back then I was around, why am I going? And she's like, let's just go. So whatever. She started taking me. We started taking the products. I was like, at this time, guys, I was super skinny. I was really skinny. I was becoming already, now that I'm a grown woman, I was becoming very self-conscious about myself. I was in my head, I had an image of what we were supposed to look like at 13. And I was like, no, I can't eat that. I'm gonna get fat. No, I can't do that. So I started on the products with that. Then comes me getting pregnant as a teen, and my mom saw that like me going out was baby steps. So I was like, okay, let's go back to the señoras at the Herbalife. So I started using the products then again. My daughter started using the products again. And then, well, fast forward now, the two babies I have, they're Herbalife babies. My little one is a Herbalife baby since he was in the stomach. Like, I could only have that in the morning, the tea, I would still have my tea, I would have my shake, my protein bar. That was my breakfast. That's all I could have because if not, Jesus knew it was coming out. And he had problems going to the bathroom and all this stuff, and I had to change the milk. He started using products when he was 4 months old. Everybody gave me the, and I was like, hey, in Mexico, there's only one milk they take, either breast or one, so I don't care. So I started giving it to him. He's a baby. He's 9 years old now. He's the baby you see me always with. But um, Herbalife at the time when everything was going crazy was introduced to me as on the business side because of they saw the opportunity that I can be at home with my babies. We were first, and because I needed to start, changing the way I was bringing home money. So I was like, okay, why not? I already use the products. I'm already trying to, change my physical appearance. I was trying to work with my inner self more than the outer because I really was already dropping a lot of weight, but I didn't feel comfortable. Like I was still like, and in my head and in my heart, I still saw myself as 190 pounds. Even though everybody was like, oh my God, I'm like, I don't care. Like you don't see what I see. Um, and the skinniest I've ever been in my life was 105 pounds. I was not healthy though. I was anorexic. I was very, very skinny. You can see the bones, and I was healthy. And then I started stress eating, and I went through my divorce, and I just got super, super big. And it was just like, they're like, you're so fat. I'm like, no, I'm not fat. I'm juicy. Like, that was my word. Like, I was like, no, no, I never call anybody fat. I'm extra juicy. Get it right. And, yeah, that was like my journey. I met you guys. I vibed with you. I was like, oh, this woman is beautiful inside and out. I just love how she is. She's not everything you guys see is like everything she is like, and it helped me like, okay, I need to work on myself. I need to like say F this and like really work on myself. So as I started losing weight the right way, I started implementing certain things and I was like, okay, I'm gonna let go of this. I'm gonna let go of that. And I just slowly I'm getting to a point where I can like look back and be like, all right, hey, yeah, that was me. I don't care. Like it's okay. It's okay because I learned a lot from that version of myself and I'm comfortable where I am now and I'm more like this lady that I came back to the block where I actually went.
I think you froze, or maybe it's my phone. Can you hear me, Liz? Okay.
But I was like, no, no technical difficulties right now. But I came back to the block where I grew up in, and I haven't seen this woman. She used to take care of my daughter, guys. My daughter turned 16. She used to take care of my daughter so I can go to school, so I can go to work. Because I had regular high school, I had adult school, and then I worked on the weekends. And she used to watch my daughter, and I would cry every day. I would drop her off. She saw me, and she was like, she started crying, and I was like, "Why are you crying? I'm not dead. Like, why are you crying?" And she's like, "Do you see this young woman?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's my daughter." And she's like, "Exactly." She's came up to me. She was like, "How are you? How have you been?" Like, she's like, "You're raising like a beautiful young daughter. She's not just beautiful outside, she's beautiful inside." She went across, helped her with her groceries, not even remembering that that was the lady who used to watch her. And then I was like, thank you, you made my day. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, because a lot of my life, I was told that I was nothing but a pretty face. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? Does that mean that you only see a pretty face? Does that mean that that's all I am? Like, because I don't care. Like, take my eyes, I'll be normal. Like, let me be with the brown eyed people. Like, I don't care. Like, but don't think that that's all I can do or that's all I can be, because I'm not, And Herbalife and the girls, it's not just the products, but it's the community has like shown me like so much things, like so much growth. And like I told you, like no one has the power to make me cry. There's only two people that have ever made me cry. It's been you and like my aunt. My aunt will give me the look, girl, and I'll start crying. And it's like, I'm like, oh, this woman makes me cry because she makes you see something that I haven't seen in myself in years. But yeah, it's been a struggle.
It's part, I feel like it's part of the healing, because I feel
Hmm.
the same way. When I came into this community and I would share, anytime I would share, I was always like forced to share my story. And
Hmm.
every time I would share, I would cry, or I would feel like strong emotions. And what I've learned is, as you continue to grow and you continue to share, it's not that I make you cry, it's that it's from the heart. You feel something in
Hmm.
your heart that you connect to, and that's powerful. So what are your overall results?
My overall results, I started at 190. Right now, I am 156. I did gain weight, a little bit, but I feel like it's good. My lowest, I was 151, but I gained weight in the right places, I guess you can
It's
say.
muscle, girl. It's all the muscle, the curves in the
I,
muscle. That's what it's all about.
yeah, I've never had a butt. Let's just keep it real. I've never had a butt, but I was like, we're doing our booty workouts on Thursday, and then I'm walking. I use those bands, girl. I squat, and then I'm like, and somebody told me you're not gonna get any results because A, you don't go to the gym, and B, you're not taking the correct supplements. I was like, okay, so I hit her up, and I was like, I'm not one to take any clothes off because I'm just like, mama, but. I was like, for you, boo boo, I'm gonna show you because I have to show you that you can do it because a lot of people have told me you can't do it. Like that it makes me like turn around and be like, why can I not do it? Give me a reason why I can't do it. Why not? So I posted a picture, which that's why I took the selfie in on Instagram. I took a selfie in the I was looking for clothes because I don't have clothes. Nobody goes anywhere anymore. And I needed clothes for my daughter's birthday, and I took a selfie and I posted it and I tagged her, and she was like, nothing. She just said, "You left me speechless."
Good, good.
And I was like, she was like, it was at the point I was like, it wasn't to tell you I told you so, but it was to motivate you to tell you like you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. She's like, I just want to lose 10 pounds. I was like, girl, I lost over 33 pounds. Let's go. And she was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's taking me time. It's taking me like over a year because I didn't want to just drop it like that. I wanted to train myself to eat right, to exercise, get myself in a routine because I do have kids. I do have three little ones. So it's not like drop your whole life and let's just be fitness. No, just implement it. I took my coffee. There's no more Starbucks in my life. I took my coffee off. I replaced it with our coffee. They want to go to McDonald's. Hell no, you can have some egg white with some wheat bread. Here you go. Like that's what I started doing, and then that's all it's about.
And it
Honestly,
really
it's
is
just
about
cleansing.
creating a healthy lifestyle, and how important that is to most people. Have this idea like that it's going to happen overnight. And ideally, you always want to have the idea of, well, I didn't gain everything overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. And what you're
Mm-hmm.
really doing is creating consistency and building a lifestyle. So that is powerful. So I wanted you to share some advice for your past self. So three tips that you can share that you've learned on your journey.
Three things. The first one, because I was a very young mom, I did have a lot of people um, with negative comments, negative everything, negative Nancy's, negative. They made me feel like I was doing something wrong, like I should be ashamed. At 16, pregnant, being the only girl in my family, I'm three brothers, and well, my dad, they're Hispanic, they're hardcore Mexicans. My dad was really hurt. I've never seen a grown man get heartbroken, put it that way. Um, so the advice I would tell my past self would be like, don't be ashamed. You have nothing to be ashamed of because people were ugly. Like I learned at 16 what it was like, what humanity could be ugly. Like I had people not want to sit in the table with me. I had people don't look at her because you're gonna get pregnant kind of vibe. I had people talking smack to my parents, and um I went to school, and that's the bad thing that made me be like very bitch with people, but because they were attacking me without knowing me. They were like, oh no, that's, like, oh, that's a sucia that got pregnant. Excuse you? Like, no, I was dumb. But it would just be that, like, don't worry about what people have to say because nobody's perfect. That would be one lesson I learned. Another one would be that I was good enough. You are good enough. Because in order for us to learn, we have to make mistakes. And yeah, that's a huge ass mistake. But I never have ever seen my daughter as a mistake. At 16, like yesterday when it was her birthday, she turned 16, it hit me. I was like, shit. I was 16 when I had you. I was pregnant at 15. I had you at 16. And I sat there and I was just like, and she looks at me and she goes, what? And I'm like, nothing. It's the greatest satisfaction, like as a mom, to look and be like, damn, like that's a human being like that I'm raising. And a lot of the work, unfortunately, I never wanted to do it by myself. But that's another advice. I'm like, it's okay if you're gonna do it by yourself, because when I went back to school after I had her, there was a secretary there, and she ended up getting fired because of this, because she didn't know my mama knew the district person, and it was like that we can have people working like this at schools. So she no longer works there. But she turned around and said, you should just do what everybody where you're from does. I looked at her like, what the hell? Where am I from? She's like, just stay home and make babies. That's what Mexicans do. Go get one husband. That one doesn't work. Go find another one. Now I don't know if she was saying it like her kind of thing. You don't even say shit like that, especially if she didn't know what I was going through. But that motivated me to turn around and be like, I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna come show you my damn diploma, and then you ain't gonna work here no more. And that's exactly what I did. I walked with my class. Even I was behind a year when I went back. I was behind a year. I was a senior with junior credits. And my mom was like, why are you doing this? I was like, because I was told I couldn't do it. Because I was told that Mexicans should just stay home and have babies. Because this woman was judging me without even knowing me. Like, what? No. And she was like, okay. So I did it, and not giving up, like not giving up, not caring what people have to say, because people are going to be ugly. And it's okay, because it's like you want to live with that inside of you. You want to be that negative person. You want to be ugly. Okay, boo boo. You be that. But I didn't want to be like that. And then my last, and like, it hurts to say it, but if you have to do the journey alone, you got to do it alone. Because God knows I tried, and I gave it my all, and people still, had something to say. And I was judged, I was looked, I was ashamed. I felt like I was ashamed for years. I wouldn't look at people in the eyes, I would look down. And it took me maybe from 16 to 21 to drop that, to just be like, why am I feeling ashamed? You should feel ashamed, because instead of motivating this 16-year-old that got pregnant, you're making me feel like I'm an alien from outer space. Which I get it. Back then, it wasn't something you would see all the time. Now it's like, oh, she's pregnant. Okay, pues, let's take it. Not something to be doing either, because one lesson I learned, yeah, it's really hard when babies are having babies, but they're so beautiful. They're a blessing. And that's what I started learning, like, to not care what people have to say, and just you decide what your path is going to be. You only write your story. That was one of the main things I learned after. Like, this woman said that's all I'm going to become. Why? Who the hell is she to say that? So I used that, and I was like, I wish I could have told myself back then, like, don't listen to what she has to say, because who is she to decide what path you're going to take or who you're going to become in life? She ain't nobody. She probably stayed married with the person that she didn't love for like 50 years, and now she has to work here and she's miserable because there's kids everywhere and she never thought about having kids. I don't know. But that's what I was like, no, 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 no. And now that I'm starting to see, like, a lot of people are like, how do you do this? Like, how do you? And I'm like, because my kids have been my why. I have been myself, like my why. Like, why? Because I want to. Why? Because I'm not gonna listen to them. But yeah, those are my 5, 7 tips.
And that's powerful. And I just want to tell you that you you have raised such an incredible daughter to where it's funny because one of my good friends, her godson actually went to homecoming with your daughter.
Yeah,
And when I saw that she posted the picture, I was like, oh my gosh, I know her. That's my friend. And she's like,
yeah,
and then like we were messaging and I was like, and I said, oh, that's my friend's daughter. And she's like, oh, really? She just had so many beautiful things to say about your daughter and what a beautiful person she is inside and out and on her character. And she even said like, oh, he's going to marry her. Like that's how much like love they have for her. But that is a direct reflection of the type of daughter that you raised. And to just
yeah,
think about, like, I want people to understand that, like, because so many times in life, people are stuck in this, and why we're talking about growth mindset, people are stuck in this just uh non-growth mindset. I don't even know what to call it, right? But
yeah,
that they can never be more than what someone has told them. And that's the saddest part about it, is that people go through life thinking
hmm,
that's it. This is it for me. I don't have anything else to offer for not even the world, but for myself. Like this is
yeah,
all I'll ever be because this is what people have told me that I will be. And that's just a
hmm,
common thing, especially as women, like that's our story. And it brings me back to my journey. I used to tell myself the same thing. Like I've always been chubby or gordita or overweight. I'm always going to be
hmm,
that. And it wasn't
yeah,
until I surrounded myself with people that taught me like, no, like you get to decide, right?
no,
That
you're
positive
right.
environment. You get to decide what your life is. You get to decide how your life turns out. And so many people live every single day. And honestly, that woman, like you said, she probably was living a miserable life because people hurt people.
Yeah,
And it's just really sad. And I'm glad she got fired, because to tell a child that is a horrible thing, because she
hmm,
literally was crushing your dreams and your ambitions.
yeah,
And as a person of authority, an adult, that's not
you don't do
something you
that.
should ever do. Exactly.
Yeah,
So I know
I know.
now, going through my own experience and learning from this community, I've learned that that is what it is. When someone is negative towards you, it sometimes even has nothing to do with you. It's just how they feel about themselves. And
Yeah,
we are a world of hurt people hurting people. And so the
yeah,
solution to that is to share incredible stories like yours, to have
yeah,
women speak their truth and share their incredible insight and their incredible advice that they would give, right? Starting with, I know I asked you, like, what would you the advice you give to yourself, but in doing that, my intention is like for someone who's listening to your story, who maybe can relate to your story, who's a young mom, and maybe
yeah,
that was her internal story that she told herself, like, I'm just a mom, or first of all, you're never just a mom, because that's like
yeah,
50 jobs in one. That's the most important job, is to be a mom. Yes, baby. She's screaming. But to break that cycle of that story, of that internal dialogue, that I am not enough, which is what
yeah,
you said. Knowing that you
yeah,
are enough, knowing that you are enough, and that everything you do to better yourself is ultimately impacting your children. I know that your kids are going to grow up and just, I know they love you, but as they grow up and they become their own little adults,
so,
they're
yeah,
really going to see the value of what the kind of life you created for them,
yeah,
and just know like what an incredible example you are to them, because um not every mother continues to with the drive and the ambition to better her situation. A
yeah,
lot of women stay in that mentality of like, well, this is my life and all I can do is what I can do. And that's true But all you can do is continue to work on yourself so that you can be that best example for your children. And if
Yeah,
not you, then who? If not
because
you, then who?
I was once asked, like, when I was going through my whole divorce, they were like, why would you mess up your whole family? And I said, why would I stay where I'm not happy? Why would I stay where it's two people just toxic for each other? Like, I I mean, like, no, like, I do not hold a grudge against this person no more. I do not hold anything against this person no more. I feel no type of way. But I just cannot. I was so ugly, like I was becoming what I didn't want to be. I was just in a bubble of like going to work, going working as much old time just so I wouldn't be around this person. So I was missing out on my kids now. And people would just be like, "Oh, you're always gone." I'm working 12 to 14 hours, dude, every day, 6 days straight. Like, I'm, I am working. Like, you don't understand that. They assumed I was gone. Now, I meet women now and they're like, I can't just get up and go. And I was like, this was my advice. If it was easy, it would be done all the time. It would be done all the time. I had support from my family and my mom just turned around and said, if you don't want to be there, F it, what are we doing? My brother's the same way. Yeah, if I didn't have them, it would probably be harder. But I wasn't just a mom. I had like a part of me as a woman was like, I don't want to be with this man anymore. I'm not happy. I'm a wild child inside. I'm meant to be like loved in a different way, not like controlled and I can't wear makeup if it wasn't okay with him. Like it was ugly. It was a whole I could talk for hours on that one. But as a mom, as a woman, as a person, I was like I deserve more. And my mom told me in our time, we stuck with the man we had to stick with. Girl, this is not your time. This is not my time. And I was like, and that's what I've been coming across. A lot of women, they're like, why? I can't just get up and go. I don't know how you did it. Girl, it was easy. It was easy. You give yourself a limit of how much you can take. I told myself, Jesus, the moment I cried, something snapped in me, and it took an ugly action for it to happen. But I snapped, and then it's like the Liz that was like this the whole time came out. And I told this person, I was like, when that inner you comes out, you're gonna not even care about the material stuff. You're gonna grab your kids and you're gonna leave. And you cannot be worse, or no, you cannot be worse than where you were at. You know why? Because our kids feed off of us. Our kids feed off that vibe. And my daughter, 8 years old, already knew half of the things. Until this day, she tells me, I don't hate you for leaving. I just don't, I just didn't understand. And it took her a long time to understand. And she's like, but I love you for doing it. And I love the relationship that we have. And it took something ugly, me getting divorced, me going through all that, for our bond to be like this because we are. And my mom and me are like, but I was like, I had to go through all that. And I was asked by this person, would you do it again? And I was like, yeah, I would, because going through everything I went through shaped the person I was. And it's made me like a thick skin to be like, girl, why aren't you doing it? You could do it. Like, there's no reason why you can't do it. If I gotta go get my truck, throw all your crap in there, well, let's go. We just gotta go like dip and go, because I don't know how crazy your man is, but it's just you have to give yourself value. That's one thing I've told my daughter. You have to give yourself value, because sometimes we belittle ourselves. Sometimes we're like, oh no, this is what I'm meant to be. This is what I'm. No, who said it? Who said? Who said? Since she was 7, I think I've been telling you, what do you want to do? I want to be a lawyer. Okay, then be the damn lawyer. Be a lawyer. What kind of lawyer you want to be? A bougie lawyer? Or what kind of lawyer are you gonna be? Gonna be like um that blonde, legally blonde or whatever, when she dresses all pink and stuff. I was like, you want to be that lawyer? You be that lawyer. She's like, Mom. I'm like, no. Who said you can't? Like, I was told all I had to be was a mom and stay with your dad forever because we had kids together. No. Bye, boo boo. No. No, 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 no. So that's one hard lesson that I did have to learn. Like, I had a kid with this person and I thought I had to stay because that's what we're supposed to do. Parents, I grew up in a household with two parents, so I was like, this is what we're supposed to be. But no, girl, no.
You're touching
You
on
write
so
the
many
story.
things. You're touching on so many
Yeah.
things. My mind is like, oh my gosh, we got to talk about this another time for sure. But like relationship dynamics, um, social norms, things we learned. It's like a generational, I guess like generational, not traits, but things we inherit from our parents, and that
Culture.
is so true. And
Mhm.
it's also it's a cultural thing. This idea that because I know so many family members and friends who, because they had babies with this person, they were
They
forced to get
stay.
married
Mhm.
and their relationship did not work or does not work. It's toxic. And why is it okay to I don't think this happens so much more now, when, when girls are young and they have children, but this is something that happened when I was, growing up, right?
Yeah.
Seeing family members and friends that they would have babies, and then it's like, well, you have to marry them because it's a Latino thing. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And because in Mexico, it's always a story. That's what happens. You get pregnant, you marry this person, and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what kind of person this is. It doesn't matter how they treat you. You're also talking about how important it is to set that example for your children. And one thing that I got from what you said, and I think it's powerful for people to hear, is that when things happen in a relationship, in a partner, in a partner dynamic, like abuse, physical, verbal, whatever, emotional abuse, and children are present to that abuse, it doesn't matter how young they are, you need to
They
have
still
that
learn.
conversation,
Mhm.
not necessarily why it's happening, but you need to have the conversation with them of how it makes them feel,
Mhm.
because this is children, as they're growing up, they are absorbing everything, they are taking in everything, and they actually inherit that emotional abuse, which comes out in another form when they grow up. It
Yep.
molds the kinds of relationships that they have when they grow up. So if you're not having that, if they are witness to something, it doesn't matter what kind of
Mhm.
abuse is abuse, okay,
Yep.
of your partner. When they are present to that, you need to have that conversation with them, because you don't know how it's going to affect them in the long term. So
Yep.
I remember having this conversation with you before about your daughter, telling you this, how proud that she understood what
Mhm.
was happening, and that she's
Yeah.
really glad that you left, and know that that is an impact that's going to affect her for the rest of her life. It sets the tone for what she allows herself, the kind of love she allows in her life, but it also sets the
Mhm.
tone with the people and the emotional attachments that she forms, and how she loves herself, what she allows
Yeah.
herself to go through. And that's powerful, because so many people, like I I have this conversation with my husband all the time. Like, if we're going to have an argument, we can't raise our voice in front of Frida. It has to
Yeah.
be right, because she feels the energy. She feels the
Yeah.
energy. I check my energy all the time. If I'm going to raise my voice, I'm be like, I'm going to walk out of the room,
Just go
because she
outside.
cannot, exactly. She does not understand. She's at the age where she doesn't understand what is being said, or what the discussion is, but she feels that energy, and that
Mhm.
energy affects her. It
Yeah.
affects her, and it affects kids, and it doesn't matter how young or how old they are. You need to have that conversation of feelings, emotions. How, I know you saw this, but how does it make you feel? Because if
Mhm.
you don't, that comes up later in life. And I have so many, not just within my own life, but people that I have had conversations with that are now adults. And when you really break it down and talk about it, everything that we go through begins in our infancy and childhood, and an
Yeah.
experience that we had, not even directly. It could be something we saw our parents do, or things our
Yeah.
parents say that they don't understand, that their words are powerful, and
Yeah.
and it impacts us. So I'm so proud of you, because you have found this awareness. You have this unconditional self-love, and honestly, that having unconditional self-love is the most powerful thing, because it is your drive, it is your motivation and your inspiration to get up every single day and do your best, and having that strong why. For you, it's your children, but it's also you. It's also
Mm-hmm.
16-year-old Liz who
Yeah.
was told, this is all you, I'm getting emotional, this is all you'll ever
This is
be.
all you're,
And like
yeah.
how many of us go through life living that way, feeling that way, and never, like, I think about how powerful it is to have these conversations and invite women to this community, because how many women still feel the way
That's how
16-year-old
you,
Liz felt.
yeah. Which is not, no, that's not, that's why, that stuck with me over the years. Like, that's all you'll be, that's all. And I'm like, why? Like, why would you think that that's all I'll be? And, and, and to go through everything I went through, I would sit there and be like, I, I, I effing deserve this because of what I did to my parents. I deserve this because I put them through shame. I was like sabotaging myself and like bringing myself down because I was like, for a lot of years I would tell my mom, like, what did I do for God to punish me the way He has? And she turned around one day and she said, why do you feel that way? And I was like, I broke. Like, our family was the talk of the millennium, I guess you can say, for a long time. And my mom was like, I don't feel ashamed. Why should you? Like, I don't have nothing to be ashamed of. It's not like you were not talking or judging for the women that do that, but it's not like you were in a corner and being a prostitute and you got pregnant. Like, if they need to do that, that's on them. Don't, you're nobody to judge. My mom would always tell me. And I'm like, yeah, but why am I feeling like I got pregnant from a stranger and I don't know who the baby daddy is? If that happens, okay, girl, like, well, let's test them all. But like, why make me feel like that? Like, why make me feel like I'm not worthy to be around you? Like, and and like, now that my daughter's the way she is, and I'm like, girl, flaunt it, walk it. I don't care. Like, be you. Don't ever let anybody tell you you can't be like this or you can't be like that. No, respect yourself, love yourself, give yourself value, and the sky is the limit. Don't ever if you meet a boy and he tells you, oh, you can't do that, bye. You cut it right there. You can't. I hate those words. You can't. Why can't I? See, that's why I buy my own ring to put on my own finger because I love myself. I don't need you to buy me nothing. Yes, if I ever God puts a man in I don't want a man, a grown ass man that knows and pushes me and motivates me in my path. Like, okay, but I told her, don't ever let anyone tell you you cannot do. If those words come out in any way, any order, you
I,
cannot or you're not allowed, you cut it right. I don't care how in love you are. Because I was in love for many, many years, and I gave away a piece of myself little by little. You don't want me to do this, fine. You don't want me to be with my family, fine. You don't want me to see my parents, fine. It was to the point where I had nothing left. And I said, why should I give everything? That's not the point. I was like, no. And now that it's like she's grown and she's going through her own, like, she's discovering boys, I'm like, Jesus, I'm not gonna run over this boy because he's a good boy, but like, that's my baby. Like, I was in the car, like, and I was like, don't touch them, 6 feet apart. And then my daughter turned around, Mom, you don't, you feel certain, I don't care for him, it's 6 feet apart because you're my baby. And in my eyes, I was seeing like a 2 year old, a 4 year old, and like her growing up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta let you live. But it just brought a lot of emotions, a lot of things that I thought like I was not over, but I was like, okay, leave it in the past. But it is true. A lot of 16-year-olds out there, 17, 18, it really doesn't have to be a number. They go through all these stuff, and when they find out like my story, a little bit more about my story, they're like, damn, I wouldn't have known. And I was like, yeah, because it's not something I talk about. It's not something that I'm open about. I've been a very private person because when I gave people information or I gave people like how I felt, it was an open door for them to judge me. I never got any advice. I never got like behind, at least you're trying. Nothing. It was more like, that's what you wanted. You got pregnant at 16. Who the hell gets pregnant at 16? Like, that's gonna be your life. Go have babies. Go make him whatever, whatever. And I was like, and I would come to my aunt's, and she would be like, you want to get rid of him? Like, throw him to the curb, and I wouldn't listen. So there's a few people like in my family that stuck by me, and I love them and I appreciate them, and till this day they're still with me. They are my motivation. They're like, you're doing good. Like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you're not crazy. But it's time for me to be like, girls, you guys can do it. Like, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody. Our parents would probably. I don't know. My mom sometimes she's like, I'm gonna get rid of your dad. Oh, you love him. Don't be lying. You ain't getting rid of nobody. But there's a lot of people back then. I feel like if they would have had the opportunity, they wouldn't have stayed married with the person that they were married. Even
Absolutely.
people my age, like that I talked to, that we had kids around the same time. I was 60. Maybe they had them around 18, 19. But they're still with the person they had kids with, and they're not happy. Now, in their mind, I don't judge anybody. We as parents do what we think is right, and we raise our kids the way we think it's right, what we feel. Power to you. But one thing that I personally don't agree is, just because we have kids with someone and we love our kids doesn't mean we have to stay with the other person. You can love and raise your kids separately. It's harder, yes. It's not easy. But it's also being two grown adults about the situation and being like, me and you just don't work. It's okay. You'll find someone, I'll find someone. But we created this beautiful human being. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna raise them? Like, let's do it, but let's do it together, not fighting. That would be my dream come true. Like, but I know people that have separated and they could do it that way. And it's like, I'm like, tell me how. Like, tell me how.
Well,
But
to that, you have to understand that it has to be two willing people. It has to be
I
two
know,
people willing to change, right, to make it happen.
yeah,
And that ultimately is the lesson, right? You're saying, um, in a relationship, don't this idea, throw out the idea that you have to stay together for the kids if you're not happy. Because guess
yeah,
what? You may not know this, but your children are watching. They know when you're not getting along. They know that you're maybe not sleeping in the same bed. They know that you're not happy. And what are you
mm-hmm,
teaching them? Without words, what are you teaching them? You have to
yeah,
stay because you chose this, you have to stay. No,
mm-hmm,
you're not happy, you go find your happiness. You make
yeah.
you and but with that, it's mutual conversation. Like, listen, we're not happy, like amicably, right? Not just like I'm gonna go do my side thing. That's a whole other conversation. But
Yeah.
having that understanding as adults, and the issue
Yeah.
is that most people don't grow, stop growing, stop
Yeah.
understanding, stop pouring into themselves. They lose themselves in a relationship. That's a whole other topic we could talk about. But it's a powerful thing to understand that, our decisions as parents affect our children. And so
They shape
ultimately
us.
you have to find your happiness, because when you're happy, it shows, and they absorb all of that happiness as well. And you're just setting
Mm-hmm.
the best example for them, is like, find your truth, find your light, love yourself, and live your best life. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much. Thank you
Amazing.
so much for sharing your amazing story. This
Of
was
course.
powerful. I just spat. I'm gonna save it, so I can put it on my YouTube and then share. We can share with anybody who didn't get to hear the whole thing. But I'm just so proud of you. I'm so proud of the woman
Thank
that you
you.
are, the woman that you're becoming, and just how incredibly amazing you are, and the way that you impact all of these incredible women in our community. And know that you are worthy of everything. You are a person of incredible value, and you're going to do such amazing things in this world. So keep on
Thank
shining your
you.
beautiful, beautiful light. I love you, my friend.
Thank you. Love you too.
So we're
Bye.
going to actually have at 9 a.m., guys, we have Tea Talk, which is our women empowerment, basically empowerment hour, right? Kind of like this, but and it's the same thing. We have incredible stories. We have women sharing their journeys, and just an amazing way to start your morning off, connected to powerful women, living the lifestyle, trying to be the best version of themselves. So if you would like to join me, send me a message. It's going to start at 9 a.m. I can't even see what time it is right now, but thank you guys for joining in, and we'll see you next time.